there, YouTube? I'm back again today for another Kickstarter critique where I take a look at a different Kickstarter project every single time and give my honest thoughts on how that's being ran. So if you enjoy that kind of content, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below. But right now, very excited to be checking out the second most popular project on all of Kickstarter. Just launched yesterday. That is Everyone Else Thinks This Game is Awesome. A trivia game that you can win either by knowing the truth or knowing who ... So I already have a feel for this game. It is a trivia game. I have to, I get that. It's raised $111,000. And I do want to spotlight one thing right here. The thing that attracted my attention to this first was this distinctive art style, which I was pretty sure was from a web comic that I like. And this Project We Love thing is actually blocking that. But yeah, their name is on there. It's a husband-wife couple. They do a podcast. They do the comic. So that explains why it's the second most in popularity. I imagine they have a large group of people who are like, yes, we love what you do, and they're here for this. So that's a great start to it. Hopefully we can continue this. So the first thing I'd say is I'd like to know a player count. I'd like to know a time length, the age on this, and also potentially how much it costs if we have a reasonable price here. Because that's one thing. I'm getting the impression that this is going to be a party-esque trivia-style game, but I'm not sure. As always, when you go in the video, though, 3 things that always need answered. Do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? Let's go. Hey, geeks. I want to tell you about the latest project. I've been a board game geek since I was a kid. Okay, I wrote a new game. The rules are only 47 pages long. My favorite games were ones about 2 things. Weird knowledge. Please be an etymology question. This is where I shine. Trickery, evil yelling and talking. Damn it, it's too fast. Trickery, evil yelling and talking smack. The answer is wombat feces. Bow before your god. About a year ago, Kelly and I connected with a game designer and company to work on a concept. Matt, fantastic, professor of board games. Damn it, you're going too fast. I will say, I have a very good track record with Matt Fantastic Games. He is one of the most interesting game designers out there. He's got this... what is it? Oh, it's the one from Brain Games, the monkey game, which is a really interesting one where someone can't see, someone can't speak, and someone can't use their hands or something like that. And then he has That's Not My Lemonade. He's got some really interesting designs, so I will say name-dropping that name is, I think that's a smart one. I don't think he's a huge game designer in our hobby, but I think for the people who like his style of games, you're immediately going to be more intrigued. And it goes with the can you do it, helping that. So basic idea, a trivia game for people like us. Okay. Gotta read fast. Everything else thinks this game is awesome. So there's the box. I kind of get an idea of how large the box is. Hopefully we get a more clear image later on, but still solid. At least I see the box. The questions are about science, philosophy, social science, math, science, and other stuff. We spent a long time trying to find facts for geeks that aren't common trivia. All right. Avis is the taxonomical class that contains what type of animals? Until the construction of the Lincoln Cathedral in English in 1549, one has held the record for the tallest structure. Wow, these are some difficult ones here. Okay. But I'm seeing 5 trivia questions on each card. Okay. Oh, now I have time to read it all. Nerd trivia is the heart of the game, but you also have to try to guess what the other players know, or if nobody knows the answer, so everyone plays every round. Awesome. So you can kind of BS people if you sound confident. The game also has an academic theme. Players begin is lowly adjacent professors. It's supposed to be as? I don't know. Begin is lowly adjacent professors. If you win a round, you become an assistant professor. Another round, and you get tenure. Another round, and you're sent to the DPhic status of Emeritus Professor. Okay. So I will say, I'm very interested to know what other people think about this style. I know this is from a webcomic creator, and so they're really, I get that. I totally get that. But maybe just a voiceover, a narration, I think would have helped a little bit. Because here's the bottom. Well, do you pause? If it goes too fast, do you pause? Like, what do you do? Like, I'm trying to think of what I do with the things to pause. I don't know. Like, when it scrolls too fast and you can't read it all, do you actually pause and read it? Or you just say, you know what, forget this, screw this, and go somewhere else? I'm interested. So I'm seeing the score tracker here, seeing the board dry erase. Okay. Component shot. This is a game we've had a lot of fun on, and which is designed to work for those of us who only ever lost at Trivial Pursuit due to the accursed sports. So they're saying we lost because of the sports category. It's the kind of people who read comics with obscure jokes about science, economics, math, words, and philosophy. So the hardcore of the hardcore nerddom. Okay. What? That was very abrupt. Okay. Wait, what is this? Footer. Also filth. We made a sex and drugs deck. You can buy separately. Okay. So I do like they're telling me a little bit more about what I potentially might want to buy. So in the back of my head, you know, if I was really into this webcomic or I was really into the idea of this game, if I'm wowed, I'm saying, all right, I want the base game and I want this. So I already know what I'm looking for. So do I want it? I need to know a little bit more. I like the basic premise, but I need to see like an example round, I think. I think that would have been good in that video there. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I already know I like their sense of humor, but granted, I guess this isn't a humorous game, is it? It's a trivia game. Interesting. Can you do it? So here's the first thing. So first, I like the fact that they went out of their way to name drop someone who's in the industry to make you feel more comfortable about buying it. I think that's a great idea. Also, the other thing is, this person very clearly has a reputation, has a name, and if they, you know, raise $100,000 on Kickstarter and the game never comes out, that looks really bad on them. So I feel comfortable with can you do it? So yes there. Do I want it? Yeah. How much is it? Hopefully we don't beat around the bush. We get to the price relatively early. So first created, 0 back. This always looks bad, but it's not a deal breaker. You just need to convince people, and this one is not very convincing. Emeritus Fox is a boutique publisher of whimsies. Check out our latest with Zach and Dr. Kelly Wienersmith. So this... Send me to a Facebook link, send me to a Twitter, send me to something. I just... Because here's the thing. I'm looking at it from two perspectives right now. First is I know who Zach and Kelly Wienersmith are. You know, well, okay? And then second, you don't know who that is. Because some people will just put their name up here, even if they're a quote-unquote nobody. Like a first-time game designer who doesn't, you know, just works at a factory or something, might still put their name on there. Because they see a lot of game designers put them on the box, they just think that. So hopefully they go in depth about who they are, the comics aspect of it, you know what I'm saying? Just to lend it a little bit more of the credibility on the can you do it. Everyone else thinks this game is awesome by Zach and Kelly. So the peer-reviewed board game, so working thematically, funded in 1.716667 hours. Okay, I always mock when people put it on the front of their Kickstarter that like funded in 6 minutes because it's dumb. Get it out of here. Put useful information in there. So I like the fact they're poking fun at that. Gives me a little bit of the sense of humor of the game. But once again, is there a sense of humor in this game? Because when I think of trivia games, I don't know. Zach and Kelly Wienersmith, the authors of the best-selling Soonish, have recently worked with some of the greatest and most glamorous of their science colleagues to lovingly craft an exciting new trivia game with some of the wildest facts anyone could research and brought to life. Everyone else thinks this game is awesome. So I do like what they do. Authors of the best-selling Soonish. So once again, they did the thing that I was hoping they would do, which was spotlight, hey, we can do this. You know, we have a name. We don't want our name to get dragged through the mud, so this is going to happen. So leading off of that, I think it's a great idea. About the game. If you're looking for a good trivia game with a variety of fun questions that will make you feel smart and make you feel curious in equal measure, you couldn't do better than everyone else thinks this game is awesome. So I do kind of like that quote because it's spotlighting one thing that I kind of noticed with those cards, and I think which is why they give us so much time to read those cards. Those cards had some really interesting questions, like some factoids where you'd be like, they were interesting enough where you might actually stick with you and be able to use it in the future, because we all love having those factoids in our back pocket to talk about. So I do like the fact they spotlighted that a little bit. The most difficult trivia game I've ever played, and I played those trivia games on movie screens before the movie starts. So damn it, Grant. I love Grant. Grant is on the up and up. You need to check out his channel. He is a comedian, like a legitimate comedian, and he does game reviews, and he's an awesome human being who you should check out his channel. And I like that quote because it made me laugh. The most difficult trivia game I've ever played. I don't know if that's necessarily a compliment, but I just laughed, and I think that's always a good thing. Is everyone else thinking this game is awesome? You try to be the first professor to win 3 rounds by assigning your grad students to the labs you think are most likely to answer a question correctly, thus earning the most citations and riding their labor up the academic ladder. So you're predicting who amongst the group you think is going to get things correct. That's actually a really interesting premise. I kind of wish that was in the video a little bit more obvious, like the gameplay aspect, because that sounds kind of cool. Do you believe in yourself or follow along with whatever everyone else thinks? So 2 to 8 players, 30. So yeah, once again, highly recommend putting that on the front somewhere and making it large so you can see it from the offset. This is a party style game, 2 to 8 players, but still 2 players. I'm very curious to see how it plays 2 players. 30 to 45 minutes, ages 14 plus. And everyone else thinks this game is awesome. You were all asked trivia questions, simultaneously write down answers, and then assign grad students to different locations based on who, if anyone, you think wrote down a correct answer. So you might be like, oh, Greg knows a lot about about Europe, so I think he would answer. Okay, that's kind of cool. Based on how well you predicted answers, including your own, you earn or lose citation points. Eventually, someone will climb their way up the academic ladder, win the game, and retire as an Emeritus Professor. Okay. Here it is in simple language, so simple, even an adjutant, I don't know words, professor can understand. Step 1, read the question, write down your answer. Okay. Step 2, assign up to 2 grad students on your own lab. Step 3, assign up to 2 grad students anywhere. And here's the bottom line. I typically am not the biggest fan of this style of just telling me how the game plays, but having it in like this colorful graphic, like the visual novel style, the comic style, I don't mind it at all. Maybe I'm just a simple person to please. Sign up to 2 grad students anywhere, reveal answers, and suffer the consequences of your failure. The answer is anus. Damn it, so close. The game comes over. And look at this! Oh, wow! So, this is a really interesting... I don't think I've ever seen this shot, like, hand-drawn of the components in the game. The game comes with over 1,000 questions, supports up to 8 players, 1 ivory tower board. I'd like to know the size of this. So this I would love to see zoomed in. And there is an industry standard. And that's one thing I also wanted to mention over here, is that first created, 0 back. That always kind of looks bad. If you want to make it look better and you don't mind being a little cheeky, go back 40 things for $1, then it's first created, 40 backed, and it just makes you look like a member of the community. If you don't want to spend the 40 bucks, back 40 things that are going to fail. But it makes it look like less of a cash grab. And I always think it's a solid idea. The game comes with over 1,000 questions and supports up to 8 players. Because, yeah, I'd like to see what all this text is. Is this where some of the humor in the game is going to come out? Is this information that's going to help me remember the rules of the game? Because if that's what it is, like, that's something I would most definitely want to spotlight. So 8 citation trackers. Grad students will be presented by interchangeable pawns with no control over their own destiny. Okay. 216 question cards. That's over 1,000 questions, assuming there's 5 on each. That's a good number of questions. Okay, and then the 1 lab map. I would like to know how large this is. I would like to zoom in on the artwork, because once again, there's not probably going to be too much artwork in this game, but I imagine the artwork that is in this game is going to be something that's very, noteworthy, because you're an artist. So I would completely zoom in on these, though. The stuff that comes inside the box. Everyone else thinks this game is awesome, so this is the preview. The rewards, so not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good you have a preview, but, and I've done polls on this, the videos people want most are how to play or gameplay. Those, because gameplay is like, I can watch that, I can see, is this going to be something that's going to work for me, end of the day. Because previews, when you click on a video and it says preview, you go into a certain mode, So the rewards, $35. Okay, it's reasonable. Party game price. The basic game plays up to 8. Looking at the components, $35 is a bit for that components. That's a lot. I'd be very interested to know. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. 8 answer boards. And here's part of the problem that I have. How thick are these answer boards? I feel like if you showed me, and this is why the industry standard is the long, sexy scrolling shot of just all the components, and you get to see them all up close and get wowed by it, and that's going to help you sell the price. So these 8 dry erase markers, the 8 answer boards with all 8 different backgrounds, the lab map, you tell me the dimensions, you show me how it looks, this ivory tower board, which has something written on it, which might... and then you show me 216 cards, and maybe you show a couple cards. You say, look at all the information on all these cards, and each one has different factoids, yada, yada, yada. I would just, because right now, $35, I say, that's not a bad price, but it's not a price where I'm like, damn, that's awesome. That being said, I would still put that at the front image, $35. Did polls on that. Most people would prefer that of the people who cared. Reward 1, the adjunct. I know it's not Kickstarter standard, but one day, maybe. So then the assistant professor, so $55 gets you, I'm assuming, this and the pink one. Right? This reward gives you all that you need to play with yourself and others. Climb that ivory tower. Does this make it solo? Reward 2, the assistant professor's sex, drugs, and citation. This tier includes everything in the adjunct plus the sex, drugs, and citation expansion pack that will get you called into HR. No. So I'm pretty sure this doesn't add a solo mode. So I know you were going for like a cheeky masturbation pun. But looking at it from the board game perspective, when you say it gives you what you need to play with yourself, I say, oh, cool, solo variant. And in fact, I don't believe that's what you're trying to say. So miscommunication there. And then once again, how much is in this? Is it literally just double? Is it the same amount of cards? Is it the same amount of boards? Does it allow me to go up to 16 players? No. Because look, I'm going to guess that this is a much smaller box. Okay. And I need to know more information about this. Like, this seems like just kind of no-brainer. How many cards is it? Is it more boards? Is it more meeples? Or is it... I need to know. And once again, this also calls into question, like, what are the sizes of these? Because is this a tuck box? Is this just like 52 cards and it goes in there? Because I think that's what it is. So the base game, plus the expansion plus a signed Wienersmith card. And I do love the fact that they have this Kickstarter, or this particular pledge. I think this is always a solid choice because most of the people who are going to come here, especially at the beginning, are going to be people who are massive fans of this couple. I believe they're a couple. Pretty sure it's a husband-wife couple. And so this is going to be something that's going to be easy to sell. It's not going to add like anything to your shipping cost or anything like that. It's just an easy $100. And it also gives fans the opportunity to get, you know, that little extra bit. So I always think it's a great idea. And I hope there's another one. And they're also, so now we have another one, $250. And once again, if it's gone, get rid of it. I always say like that's because now it's like I'm disappointed that I can't get it, but I am curious to see what it is. Not just everything and all the little rewards, you also get to write a card with Zach and Kelly. Wow your friends and foes by knowing all the answers on this card ahead of time. So that's a cool one as well, but once again, it's gone, and that's disappointing. So before we get too lost in the number of stretch goals, and I hope these continue to go. I hope as you continue to go down, you get more and more cool experiences interrelated with this game, because I always say like that is just a great way to run a Kickstarter, and a great way to make a lot of good chunk of money. If people want to be whales, let them be whales. Not just everyone and all the lower rewards, you also get to write a card with Zach. Oh, wait. So let's see. So 279 people just want the game. Okay. With the expansion, yeah, and this is what I thought it would be. $14.91 want everything, because yeah, I do know the webcomic, which I think it's like Saturday morning comic cartoon babies or something. It's an awesome. I see it on my Facebook all the time, and it's one of the ones I always stop and read and enjoy. But it's $1,491, so most people want a little bit of sex with it. And then we have the signed card, $127. Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, that's. Let's look at it from a logistical perspective, right there. They just made $5,000, $6,000 to sign 127 cards. Like that's what I'm talking about right there. Having these kind of pledge levels, they're just such a smart idea. And then we have the sold out one, the 250. This is where you get to design the card. So only 5 people get to do that. Understandable. That one's gone. I actually had a card. I had a pledge level like that for an adult card game that I did, and that was one of the ones that sold out as well. That was a really popular one. Pledge 300 department chair. So this is okay. So now we're on to the next one. You get everything, and once again, I would get rid of these kind of because it's like it kind of stinks I missed out. You get everything rewards 1 through 3, plus you get to write a card with Zach and Kelly, so you get everything from above. Know all the answers. Wait, didn't we just do that one? So this is just like a more expensive version of this. Oh, I see. I'm going to guess they added this after the fact because this one sold out so fast. Maybe. And maybe they're going to add another one now that this one is... Oh, and yeah, so this is just like kind of... Are these tiered early boards? Lord over all the campus with your ability to know the answers before they ask by writing all the questions on a card yourself, includes credit on the card. Oh, so now this one is going to start including credit on the card. The other two, you don't get credit. You have to pay the $100, peasant, or else we take all the credit. I don't have a problem with that. It's weird, but hey, whatever. So we get to the 1,000. All right, what's the 1,000? I'm excited. I hope it keeps going. All the rewards, and you can be drawn as a lab assistant in the core game to the professor of your choosing. That is what I'm talking about. That is just awesome fan service. If someone loves the comic, or loves the idea of this game, or just loves one of the two people in the designers, it's like, give them an opportunity to spend $1,000 on you, and that's great. That is such a cool idea. How many we got of that? 3? Okay. It's an extra $3,000 right there. That's awesome. Add-ons. Sex, drugs, and citation. This expansion pack with your thing over 500 questions. So it's going to have 100 cards, looks like. More topics, sex, booze, drugs, gross, and more. So I would take this little bit of information and I would lump it in when you first introduce that expansion, because I feel like that's pretty valuable information that you wouldn't want necessarily on the add-ons, because it looks like most people are probably not going to do it. Also, what is the price of the add-on? That's a good thing to have here. Prices are always great to have. So, to be revealed. More stuff will be revealed throughout the campaign. Stay tuned. Oh, so I immediately have a reason to come back to the campaign. Always a great idea. because, then we're done. All right, about the creators. Zach Weidersmith draws the daily comic strip Saturday Morning Breakfast Cereal. All right, and there it was. And co-wrote the New York Times bestselling pop science book. Soonish is a biologist. Dr. Kelly Weidersmith is a biologist who studies parasites. Ooh, that's cool. That manipulate the behavior of their host. Her research has been featured in National Geographic, BBC World, The Atlantic, and a Popular Science. Kelly is also the co-author of Soonish. So awesome. And once again, that's one of those things that can you do it? It's like, yes, they have reputations. There's no way they're going to want to see this get dragged through the mud. Shipping. You'll be charged for shipping later after the campaign. You're pledging for rewards now. We'll pay an additional amount of shipping later. Shipping costs will be charged for you and Pledge Manager. We're working with partners to offer region-based shipping. This will help reduce custom fees, but local taxes may still apply and will be your responsibility if your local region deems it applicable. So $15.50. Wow, that is a really bad shipping rate. Holy moly. Dang. Dang. How is that? How is $15.50? And maybe, once again, maybe this goes back to I don't know the size of this box. I thought it was relatively small. I thought it was like a medium flat rate padded shipping envelope box. You could ship that thing all day anywhere in the United States, even Canada or Alaska. You know, that's like $8-9. Now, I wonder if they're factoring in shipping as in also shipping from, presumably China to the United States of America, if that's how they're doing shipping. But either way, that shipping rate is really bad. $15.50. And even if you're getting the expansion, but I'm pretty sure the expansion is like a maybe slightly larger tuck box. Like, how is this costing so much to ship? And that's the best price is $15.50. So now we're not looking at a $35 game. I'm looking at this like a $50 game. I'm looking at this as a nearly MSRP game. And now I'm starting to say, wow, that price is not really good. So, and I'm looking at it from this perspective. Obviously, if you are a hardcore fan of this game, of this web series, of one of these two people, $50 makes sense. But just from a board game perspective of, I might just want to invest in this trivia board game, $50, that's a hard sell. That is a really hard sell. And did you mention the VAT? We're working with partners to offer region-based shipping. This will help reduce custom fees. But local taxes may still apply. And so the VAT, you're still going to get jammed on the VAT, too, which makes it even more of a hard pill to swallow for pretty much anybody outside of the USA. Okay. Oh, man. All right. That's bad. After the Kickstarter is funded, we'll continue to provide updates on the manufacturing development of the special tiers. So this is an interesting Kickstarter. I started off liking it, but now I think I like it less because of a couple things. But let's keep going. Let's check out the FAQ, the updates, and the comments. Check them out. FAQ, there's no questions. Okay, why is the shipping so high? I got one. Thank you. So we're funded. So once again, this is a bad update. And I can tell you why it's a bad update, because there's almost 2,000 people here and nobody felt the need to comment on it. And once again, that is the most important part of the update. You might think that the most important part of the update is, updating people. But that's not actually it. It is tickling that Kickstarter algorithm, keeping people engaged so you stay at the top of the popularity chart. Because right now, what I see is this being the #2 most popular project on all of Kickstarter right now, because there is a huge rush of people who are massive fans of the two people who created this game. But once that initial rush is over, you're then going to have to try and convince everybody else to back the game. And what I saw was underwhelming. Like, that price... that price at $35, I was already like second guessing the price. But then when we get to the shipping, it's a really hard pill to swallow. We're funded. Thank you. Thank you so much. We spent the part of a year working on getting this game perfect, so it's a pleasure to have such a positive response. We'll have more expansions announced shortly. Oh, so this is hugely valuable information that I need to know. And it makes me wonder if we are working towards a pledge level that is going to include every single one of these additional add-ons that they haven't revealed yet. And so that's why we're getting that $15.50 shipping, is they're basing this on what it's going to be like when it doesn't fit in the smaller box. Maybe they're looking at a medium flat rate box or something of that similar ilk. So yeah, that's why you always need to have tiered shipping areas. So it's like, here's if you just want the game. Here's if you just want the game and the expansion. Here's if you want the big whale that you guys haven't announced yet, but you've kind of wink, wink, wink. It's coming eventually. And then that brings me to the next question. Do you like that strategy? I personally don't think that's the best strategy to unlock things during the campaign that you can purchase unless you have enough excitement going on in other areas of the campaign, which I'll be very interested to see if they do. I don't know. And I would highly suggest to the people running this Kickstarter to go look at, say, a project like Flamecraft right now, which has raised over $1 million, and how they're engaging their backers. They have all sorts of cool little puzzles and things. And with being the fact that I'm pretty sure one of the two is I think it's the husband is like someone who could draw different things. I think the updates in the comments are going to tell if this is going to stay near the top or if it's going to sink like a rock on that popularity chart, which is a really big deal because, people don't scroll down forever. So if you're the 50th most popular project in games, a lot of people aren't even going to see it. And I think part of your main appeal is you see this image right here and you're like, hey, I think I recognize that art, which once again was it's the title on the top of this thumbnail because that's just what I thought of. So yeah, this update, I would always end with a question. And the easiest one is, what convinced you to back? We're trying to get the word spread out to more people. How do you think we could do that? Do you have any ideas? Anything like that, I think is always get people engaged because you have 1,900 people who are day one. They want to support you. They don't care if it's going to cost $50. Doesn't matter. So I would reach out to them. Because once again, it gives you valuable insight and it tickles those Kickstarter algorithms. I hope I can get you to back my mobile game as well, Attack Snack on App Store and on Android now. Antoine Dixon. Got to shoot your shot, Antoine. What about translation in other languages? Now, this is a big question, because once again, I imagine this webcomic is popular worldwide. I don't know. +1. We're certainly thought about it, but it is on par with translating a book in terms of written volume and includes a ton of technical language and difficult to translate question construction. So while it's not totally out of the realm of possibility, it's a much, much bigger undertaking than a typical game translation project. Well, you've raised $100,000, So this is already going to have a print run of 2,000 minimum, which means they're going to be banking pretty well off this, because I'm assuming by the time we're done with this, it's probably going to be at least a 3,000 or 4,000 print run, which means the game itself is going to cost substantially less than $35. Now, shipping is going to eat into that massively, especially, now. But yeah, it's the kind of thing where if they could, I think that's a really smart idea and something to really look into. And see how much that would cost, because that's kind of like a stretch goal that you could throw in, and it's not going to be the most exciting stretch goal to everybody, but to a country, that's going to be pretty exciting. I don't need this game, don't really want this game, but I've loved your comic for many years and want to see you guys succeed, take my money, and make those dreams a reality. And that's what I was talking about right here. You're going to have those people right from the jump who just love you for being you, but once you get done with those people, hopefully they have a reason to keep coming back. And they hinted at, hey, we're going to unlock some more stuff. But I don't know. Does that get you excited to come back? So Birds, the Great Pyramid, Gaza, Treadmill. What is this? Close. Wrong on 3, which is one of my favorite facts in this whole game. Wait, what are we doing here? Is this something in the updates? Did you tell me to come in here and do in the comments? I didn't think you did. We'll have more expansions now, so please look for those updates. In the meantime, just wow. Okay, so that's another thing as well. With it being a trivia game, you could easily ask questions, just trivia questions, in the updates. And you get people talking. Hey, I'm back at the 1,000 level and had a question about the Get Drawn as a Grad Student Award. What's the best way to get in touch privately? Wow, thank you so much, KDiv. We'll be reaching out to you via email about the next step. Okay, cool. So, I do worry about the updates in the comments. I would highly recommend trying to get those things popping so you can say hi on the popularity chart, because this game looks like a pretty appealing game. So at the end of the day, what's the final grade? Do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? Do I want it? Yeah. I like trivia games. I want to see more of this. I want to see a gameplay video of it. I want to see what the hell is actually written on there. And I'm sure I could go look at the unboxing video and the preview, but it's just, I feel like a gameplay video at the bare minimum is something that needs to be here. So do I want it? I'll give it a check mark, but it's not the biggest check mark in the world. Can you do it? I feel totally comfortable there. I really do. They got reputations. They got names. I feel like the price is pretty high, but whatevs. And then how much is it? I don't feel like the price is spectacular, and I feel like the shipping is really, really bad. So what's that make the final grade? I guess I'll go with a C- on this one. Because do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? You told me all that. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of little things that could go a long way. In particular, give me that tiered shipping. Get me that tiered shipping, because at the end of the day, let's look down here. It's like 400 people. 282 people just back in the base game, and you're making them pay $15 to ship that. That's a lot. And then when you add a tuck box, it's still okay. I talked about shipping now. I'll give it a C-, but let me know what you think about anyone else. Everyone else thinks this game is awesome. Also, did we have a rule booklet? Did I have a clickable rule booklet? We did not have a clickable rule booklet. I would also put a clickable rule booklet somewhere on here. And then you put the beautiful game. But how do I know it's a beautiful game? Zoom in. But there you go. If you enjoy what I'm doing, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. I'm trying to reach 9,000 subscribers to celebrate my 9-year anniversary of making YouTube content. As always, thanks for your time, YouTube. Bye-bye.